It's your guy Insomniac with a quick watch discussion video. This really isn't going to be a long video, but it is a topic that I wanted to talk about a little bit because there are a couple of angles here that I think a lot of watch lovers overlook. This is something that I learned early on when I started getting into watches and something that I still do now. And it's regarding watch straps, which to a degree is probably one of the most overlooked areas of watches and buying watches. But in some cases, like we'll talk about in a second, it is actually looked at too closely. You see, when I'm looking at watches that I want to buy, personally, I actually don't look at the strap or the bracelet too closely at all. I really don't care. And there is very good reason not to. First of all, as most of you know, it is very easy to change a watch strap. Some bracelets maybe sometimes to get a little bit difficult, but they are changeable too for the most part. But most of you watching this know that you can change the strap or bracelet on your watch. Now, some people do this fairly often, but for probably the least important reason, which is just for style, to match something that you're wearing specifically, or maybe you just want something a little bit more comfortable. Sometimes it's functional. You know, if you're going to go diving, maybe you'll put on a rubber strap rather than whatever bracelet came with the watch, stuff like that. And when it comes to not liking a strap or a bracelet on a watch, I tell people all the time, it really doesn't matter anyway, as long as you actually love the watch, because straps are really not very expensive. And yes, before some of you dive down in the comments with, I bought a strap that was $650, there are some straps and bracelets, especially if you're going OEM from an expensive brand, some of those will get very expensive. But for the most part, you can replace a strap on a watch with something very nice, and I've actually purchased stuff under $50 that is very good quality that I still wear on some of my watches. But regardless of the price, there are lots of options, so if you get a watch and you're in love with it, but the strap or the bracelet really isn't too comfortable, or you think something else would look better, you don't have to be afraid to change it, just go ahead and change it out. And here is the gigantic benefit actually to doing that. As most of you know, watches are investments. Unless you're buying quartz Timex pieces or you only buy Invictas, and even some of those probably one day might be collectible. Watches of all different types and shapes and sizes and brands eventually will be worth something. And before we get into a pissing match in the comments about that, I'm not necessarily talking about collectability like it's going to be worth 50 times more by the time you go to sell it. I've literally sold 12-year-old broken Bulivas on eBay and made some of my money back. So you can make some of your money back with just about any watch. One great way to increase the money you're going to get back, regardless of whether it's just a cheap watch that you want to flip or something that you're collecting for a long period of time, change the strap, and the sooner the better. And there are two reasons for this that are fairly obvious. Number one is, if it's a bracelet, you're not going to scratch it up, you're not going to beat it up. If it's a strap, it's not going to get creased, it's not going to get worn out, it's not going to rip or tear, you're not going to get sweat stains on it. So if down the line you actually go to sell that watch and you can advertise that you have the new OEM strap with it, that's always going to make that watch worth something more. And notice I said something more instead of a lot more money, because obviously depending on the watch, depending on the series, depending on the strap or bracelet, that's going to vary, and I know a lot of watch people get very particular about specific values for specific pieces. But regardless, no matter which watch it is, you're going to get more money with the fresh, unused, brand new OEM strap or bracelet being sold with it, which is why I titled this video something like, "Don't like your watch strap or bracelet? Good." It actually is good, because it gives you immediate incentive to basically take it off, put it aside, and now you have a preserved, fresh OEM strap or bracelet to go with that watch if you ever go to sell it. And maybe you're thinking, okay, well, I got a watch and I love the strap or bracelet that came with it, so now what? Well, that's simple. Unless you bought new old stock vintage, which is very hard to find. I'm talking about watches that are already old and out of production, but you bought one brand new that was in a box that nobody's ever worn. Almost any watch that is still in production, you can buy the strap or the bracelet for separately. Even if you can't find it maybe with a quick Google search, you can contact the company, and the manufacturer usually can sell you an extra strap or bracelet in that same color and finish and everything to go with the watch that you have. What I would suggest doing, especially if it's a more valuable piece, obviously maybe you don't want to have to jump through hoops if you bought a $100 watch, but what I would suggest doing, and I've actually gone as far as to do this with a couple of my pieces, is contact the manufacturer and order the exact same strap or bracelet if you love the one that came with it. And then when it comes in, just put that aside with the box and papers and whatever that you got with the watch, which is the exact same thing as taking the stock OEM bracelet or strap off your watch and putting that away. It's the same thing, because now you have a brand new, fresh, unused strap or bracelet to go with that watch if you ever go to sell it. And then, of course, just touching on what I said earlier about people who change out their straps and bracelets often anyway, even though it's not as important as the other point, you do have the option to have some options. If you have a variety of straps or bracelets for the pieces that you have. So like I said, just a little food for thought. This isn't really a long watch discussion video today, but something that I thought was pretty cool and important, because sometimes it's the little things that maybe you overlook. And like I said towards the beginning of the video, sometimes it's the little things that you focus on too much. For those of you who are looking at a watch, let's say you're looking at a watch and you're like, God, I love this watch, but that faux alligator strap's disgusting. I don't like the color of the strap. Or you're looking at it and you're thinking, I really don't like the choice of bracelet on this particular piece. Or, oh man, it comes with a brown strap. It would look much better with a black strap with that dial color. You really don't have to get hung up on any of those types of things. Pretend that that strap or bracelet isn't even on the watch. Order it, put whatever strap or bracelet you want on it, and put the other one aside. It's really just a benefit all the way around. So definitely don't prevent yourself from purchasing a watch that you love because you don't like the strap, because like we just discussed, it would actually be a good thing if you just took that strap off as soon as you got it anyway. So anyway, this is me wrapping up for a second time. I got kind of sidetracked and wound up talking about one of the points that I forgot earlier in the video. But anyway, again, this was a short watch discussion video, something to think about. Definitely something I would encourage you to do if you are buying new watches. So yeah, if you don't like your watch strap or bracelet, good. If you enjoyed this video, share it, hit the thumbs up, definitely subscribe to the channel. I have a ton more videos on the way. And if you would like to support this channel so I can make a lot more videos and a lot more quality content for you, I have a Patreon link at the top of the video description. Sign up over there at the Should I Time This Patreon. I have a lot of great rewards for you, and you get 1 week early access to all of my new videos. Thanks for watching. No pun intended.